Okay, we have a new installment in our Battle of the Big Cap Altcoin series. It's continuing today with two more of our favorites, two pretty big heavyweights in the space. One is up 41% in the last 30 days, so a nice 40% pump in the last month, which is pretty nice. The other is doing even better, about twice that, 81% in the last 30 days. But we don't want to be too myopic either. We want to zoom out and try to get a good sense of which one is better set up to have the nicest run, the most gains in 2025 and beyond. In this battle, we're matching up. We're looking at Ondo, O-N-D-O versus HBAR, H-B-A-R. Let's see who wins. Welcome to the channel. My name is Maddie and this is Altcoin Buzz. TGIF and all the best of luck if you choose to invest. I genuinely wish you well. Just remember that I am not a financial or investment advisor, and that means this video is not official financial or investment advice. All right, let's begin here. We'll kick off and set up the case for Ondo, the pro arguments for why Ondo should be the favorite in this matchup. I mentioned before that it was up 41% in the last 30 days. Make that live snapshot here, 42.7% in the last month. It's pretty good by any standard. Altcoins are starting to pick up, and as you know, we've been talking about for a while, the best altcoins are going to rise to the top, right? The cream of the crop are going to benefit more than others. This is one such example. In my opinion, things are starting to look pretty good. And Ondo is also, for context, a very clear leader in what is, I'd say along with AI, the fastest growing sector in the crypto industry. That is RWA, real world assets. And the case for Ondo also skews very well if you consider kind of the landscape in crypto right now, and I'm talking about the recent Genius and Clarity Acts, their passage in the U.S. House. They're now ready to be signed into law. So kind of the landscape on a more macro level is looking very, very positive right now. And Ondo gets a nice push from both of those acts, but especially the Clarity Act, because the purpose of that one in particular is to clarify, hence the name, and separate the regulation of blockchains and their tokens. Tokens listed as mature or sufficiently decentralized in their operations are commodities, and that just means their regulation comes from the CFTC. Meanwhile, those that are not mature could be seen as securities, and in contrast, they're going to be governed by the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission. And to make a pretty broad generalization here, projects tend to prefer the CFTC for a few different reasons, even in the more crypto-friendly Trump White House. But right now, really, there are only three that qualify for CFTC treatment, those being Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cardano. This is obviously a huge win for Ethereum and Cardano in every way. But how exactly does Ondo benefit? Well, tokenized assets, as we see now with X stocks, for example, seem to be everywhere right now. They are growing very, very rapidly. And that's great. It's also part of the mission of RWA to bring real-world assets on-chain. But some markets, including, by the way, some huge markets like Forex, foreign exchange, or U.S. bonds, are going to want to issue on a chain under CFTC leadership. Ondo's blockchain is just too new and doesn't yet qualify, but it could, and that could actually happen sooner than you may expect. It is already EVM compatible, so that's a good start. And if it manages in a practical and decentralized way, then it will eventually qualify as well. And enormous trillion-dollar markets are going to come for them. Don't forget that Ondo already has some excellent strategic partnerships that really are the envy of this particular sector. None other than BlackRock, of course, helped Ondo issue its OUSG tokenized U.S. Treasury bills. And Ondo, O-N-D-O, is in BlackRock's Biddle Fund as well. And some specialty app chains are focusing on real estate, but also on lending. And Ondo is positioning itself to handle the tokenization of any market, really regardless of size. And that is key, obviously, when you have trillions of dollars in assets that want to be tokenized in the next 5 or so years. Now, despite that very nice performance that I highlighted for ONDO over the course of the last 30 days, it's basically flat on the last year. The last 12 months, it's just marginally up. It struggled, to be fair, in 2025 so far, and really since its all-time high of $2.14. That was in mid-December. We're now down from that to $1.05. It's just been a rough market for a lot of altcoins, and Ondo wasn't immune. As I like to say, it's a great project that suffered through no fault of its own, really. But this price performance, at least to me, it still feels like it's kind of coming as a surprise when you consider all the new partnerships that they announced, the growth of the sector, RWA in particular. But yeah, recent performance has been better, but the last year just hasn't been great. That being said, though, if we zoom in a little bit, we look at sort of mid-April, it's up pretty considerably since that time. And again, it's less than half of its previous or current all-time high, I guess you could say. So we're looking here at a pretty good buying opportunity, a good entry point. The potential of this sector is not slowing down. If anything, people are getting more bullish, more eager about real-world assets. And Ondo has a very firm leadership role when it comes to RWA and crypto. Plus, we don't think BlackRock is going to let it fail. As you have seen these last few days and these last few weeks, we've been talking about slowly unveiling a new project that we're very proud of here at Altcoin Buzz. Check out the link in the description below. We're inviting all of our viewers to try it, to check it out. Once again, you can find the link and participate in the description below. All right, moving on to our second contender now. Let's make the case for Hedera and HBAR. Going back to what I talked about earlier, the Genius Act also benefits Hedera quite a lot as well. Banks are going to want to issue stablecoins on chains that are compliant and are able to do so without any regulatory issues. And Hedera is a compliant chain, very, very importantly.
Introducing Hedera's Stablecoin Studio, a comprehensive open-source toolkit designed to simplify the issuance and management of stablecoins. With Stablecoin Studio, issuers can configure, deploy, and oversee stablecoin operations. The toolkit offers administrative controls enabling actions like minting, burning, freezing, and pausing of tokens. Compliance is at the forefront, with native KYC/AML account flags and integrations with leading custody providers. Transparency is ensured through the proof of reserve functionality, utilizing existing systems or on-chain oracles. Developers benefit from the easy-to-use TypeScript SDK and command line interface, streamlining smart contract interactions. Stablecoin Studio's hybrid architecture leverages both the Hedera token service and Hedera smart contracts, offering low, fixed fees and high throughput. Join the ranks of financial institutions and enterprises worldwide who are leveraging Stablecoin Studio. Experience the future of stablecoin issuance, where innovation meets simplicity. What future will you build?
The Stablecoin Studio makes issuing a stablecoin just frankly easier than ever. United States banks are going to flock to this platform in order to issue their stablecoins because, of course, they're going to want a piece of the action. Also, when necessary, to swap for native USDC in order to bridge into other assets. All the systems, from regulatory and compliance to developer kits, are ready for any bank to use to issue an ERC20 compliant stablecoin. And by the way, this is not theoretical. This is already seeing real-world practical use. For example, we have banks like Shinhan. They're located in South Korea, and they already use it for cross-border payments and remittances. Hedera is doing big work in artificial intelligence as well. This is maybe the most impressive characteristic as I see it when it comes to Hedera as a project. This is a leading hardware solution for verifiable computation. And this is increasingly important in this growing world of artificial intelligence where AI is just seemingly sucking up all the computing power that's made available to it. And what verifiable compute allows for is the outsourcing of some of that computing power. It does some of the work for you, and then you verify it for accuracy before adding it to your AI model. Hedera enables this, as well as auditing services for AI models when they are in testing and training. Really, really, really important in terms of AI infrastructure. I mentioned before that HBAR was up 81% in the last 30 days, more like 87% or just a hair below that. It's also up over 260% in the last year, which represents an excellent ROI. If you think about altcoins over the course of the last year, certainly most of them have not performed all that well. And at $11.5 billion, it's not a small cap, but there is more potential here. There is more to be realized if you look at their ambitions, if you look at what they're trying to accomplish. This Altcoin Buzz Spotlight video is sponsored by Sui. Altcoins right now seem to finally be on the move from what has been a pretty rough 2025 so far in the crypto markets, but people are kind of getting that feeling that alt season may start soon if it hasn't already. And SWE is having a great 2025 so far by comparison by bucking the otherwise nasty trend from most in the first half of the year while still growing right now. It has quickly become one of the leading altcoins in this market and is up over 370% in the last year, in the last 12 months. Let's check out why. First of all, SWE is crushing it on all fronts in which it's involved. It's killing it in the big sectors that it supports, like DeFi. That's where SWE nearly crossed $2 billion in TVL and is almost at $1.5 billion in record time. SWE also has some of the fastest stablecoin growth of any chain, so people are using it for real transactions. And Walrus is changing the game in decentralized data storage. Its token launch was a big success, while Seal and Nautilus make things more secure and more private. Plus, SWE Play 0x1 is coming in September and is now officially sold out with 10,000 pre-orders. SWE even has a small but rapidly growing meme coin market for the meme coin lovers out there, if that's your jam. If you haven't used SWE lately, then you should come check it out. Give it a try. And also follow SWE's X account for all the latest updates. Check out the link in the description below. Okay, so we have to pick a winner here and crown a champion in this battle of the big caps matchup. This is a head-to-head that's actually representing a very difficult decision for me. Look, I always say that I like both projects, and that remains the case. But in this case, if I had to pick like 5 projects, maybe 10 that I think would crush over the next cycle, I'd actually pick both of these. So they're both pretty near and dear to me. Both are high quality with real solutions, pragmatic, practical solutions for users. That's very, very important. Kind of comes down to this sort of reasoning. If you believe in trillions of dollars coming on chain soon and fast, then you need your piece of that market. Ondo is the clear choice for you if you're ultra hardcore RWA in that camp. Yes, Hedera is in RWA too, as we covered, especially in areas like supply chain, finance, and B2B payments. But Ondo dominates. They are the leader in this space, and there's not really any argument to the contrary. But if you wanted to bet on new token issuance, stablecoin growth, and AI infrastructure, then I would choose Hedera. I think both are going to generate some great returns over the next few years. But right now, today, if I had to pick one, again, pretty difficult. I think at this price, Ondo is just a slightly better buying opportunity, just based on the history of pricing and where the tokens have been. So I'm going to very reluctantly and narrowly come down on the side of Ondo, but the reality is that both of these should be in your portfolio if you intend to hold, at least in the long term, medium to long term. So there you go. I pick Ondo, but it's a very, very difficult decision. Let me know if you disagree. Let me know in the comments below. Also, be sure to join our discussion on social media. Very, very lively. It's happening on X and on Discord. You can join us by finding those links in the description below.